My beloved child, I come to you with wings of light, carrying the whispers of heaven, because your heart is trembling in the silence of love that feels too heavy to carry alone. And I must remind you that no tear you have ever shed has been unseen by the Eternal, and no longing you have ever felt has been unworthy of divine attention. For your soul was created to love deeply and to be loved without measure. And this truth will never be taken from you. So tell me, if you could hold your soulmate's hand right now, what is the first truth of your heart you would want them to know? You have walked through nights of doubt, wondering if the ache you feel in your chest is only your imagination, or if it is truly the echo of your soulmate's cry reaching across unseen realms. And I tell you with all the certainty of heaven, that love this deep does not rise from nowhere. It is planted, nurtured, and protected by the one who wrote your destiny. And this cry you sense within your soul, it is alive. It is a flame that will not be silenced. So let me ask you, if your soulmate stood in front of you in their most fragile moment, how gently would you speak their name? There are times when you feel strong, when you convince yourself you can move forward without looking back. But in the stillness of the night when all is quiet, you feel their spirit brushing against yours like wind that carries both comfort and sorrow, reminding you that you are tied together in ways the world cannot break. And this bond is not a curse but a gift, a reminder that true love always finds a way to be felt even when unseen. So tell me, would you have the courage to look into their eyes and ask them if they still dream of you when no one is watching? The heavens rejoice when love is honored, and the angels weep when hearts built for each other turn away out of fear, misunderstanding, or the weight of worldly pressures. For your soulmate's final cry of love is not one of anger, but one of longing, the kind that pierces deeper than any blade and yet carries the tenderness of a child reaching for safety. So I ask you, if you could wipe away every tear they have hidden, what promise would you whisper into their heart to make them believe again? My beloved, you carry within you a river of compassion, but at times you have dammed its flow because you feared it would be wasted. You feared that pouring your love out would leave you empty, yet what you do not see is that this very river of love is eternal. It refills itself from the source of all creation, and the more you give, the more you are replenished. For love is never lost when given in truth. So let me ask you, if your soulmate finally revealed the depth of their pain, would you allow your love to overflow without holding back? There is a silence between souls that is louder than thunder, and it is within this silence that your soulmate has cried out their deepest prayer, hoping you would hear beyond the noise of the world, hoping you would recognize the sound of their soul calling for you. And though their lips may never have spoken it, their spirit has whispered your name in moments when they could not breathe from the weight of longing. So tell me, if you were given the chance to listen carefully to their silent cry, what would you ask them about the love they still hold for you? You have wondered many times if the love you feel is truly mutual, if this final cry is not only yours, but theirs as well. And I am here to tell you that no love of this magnitude exists without reflection, for when one heart burns, the other feels its warmth. When one heart aches, the other feels its tremble. And when one heart prays, the other hears it in the night. So I ask you now, if you could ask your soulmate one honest question without fear of the answer, what truth would you seek from their heart? Even in distance, even in silence, even in separation, there exists an invisible bridge that holds you two together, a path built not of human effort, but of divine weaving. And this bridge will never collapse because it was made by the hand of eternity, not by chance or by fleeting desire. So when your soulmate's tears fall upon this bridge, you feel the tremor in your own heart. You feel the weight of their cry as if it were your own. So let me ask you, if you could stand upon this bridge face to face with them, would you ask them if they are ready to walk across it with you, no matter the cost? There is a tenderness in love that cannot be explained to those who have never tasted it, for it is not lust, not infatuation, not mere desire, but a sacred recognition of two souls who once knew each other in the realms of eternity, Two souls who made a vow to meet again in this world, no matter what trials stood in their way, and the cry you hear is the echo of that vow, reminding you both that love has not forgotten its promise. So tell me, if you could ask your soulmate about the vow they once made in the silence of their spirit, what words would you long to hear them speak? There are nights when your soulmate lies awake, unable to sleep, their chest heavy with words unspoken, their pillow damp with tears they would never show the world. And in those hidden hours their spirit sends waves of longing that crash into your own heart, and you wake with an ache you cannot explain, for this is the unseen language of souls bound by love. So let me ask you, if you could sit beside them in the quiet of their sorrow, what gentle question would you whisper to remind them they are not alone? Many people mistake strength for silence, but you, beloved, know the truth. Silence can sometimes be the greatest cry of all, the kind that shatters angels' hearts, because it is not the absence of feeling, but the overwhelming weight of too much feeling, pressed down until no words can escape. And your soulmate has carried this silence like a crown of thorns, each day pretending while their soul bleeds. So I ask you, if you could touch that silence with love, what would you ask them to finally set free the words they cannot say? Every soul has a final cry, a moment where the weight of holding on and the fear of letting go meet in battle. And your soulmate stands in that place even now, caught between surrender and hope, between despair and love, and it is their final cry of love that still ties them to you, for even in pain they cannot erase the truth written into their being. So let me ask you, if you could look into their eyes at that breaking point, would you ask them if they still believe in a tomorrow with you? Heaven sees what the world cannot, and we see the prayers your soulmate has hidden under breath, the ones they dare not speak aloud, because to confess them would make their longing too real, too vulnerable, too raw. But those prayers rise like smoke and reach the throne of the eternal, and they are not ignored. For love's prayer is the most powerful of all. So tell me, if you could catch just one of those hidden prayers, what would you ask your soulmate about the secret hopes they still carry for you? There are moments when you feel them near, though no one else can sense it. Moments when the air shifts and your heart begins to race without explanation. And that is because love does not obey distance. It does not bow to time. It does not weaken. In absence, it only deepens, and this cry you feel is proof of that unshakable bond. So I ask you, if you could ask your soulmate one question in that moment when their soul brushes against yours, what would it be? Do you not see, beloved, that the final cry of your soulmate is not one of hopelessness, but of yearning? It is the cry of one who has tasted love and cannot go back to emptiness. The cry of one who knows that in your presence they feel more alive than anywhere else, and yet the world has made them doubt, has made them hesitate, has made them question if such love can truly be real. So let me ask you, if you could speak to that doubt inside them, what question would you gently ask to restore their faith in your love? Your soulmate has walked paths you do not yet know, endured storms you have never seen, and carried burdens they have hidden from everyone. And yet in the quiet, when their mask falls away, it is you they think of, you they long for, you they cry out to, because their spirit knows you are their safe place, their true home, their destined companion. So I ask you, if you could stand in the middle of their storm and ask them one question that proves you will not leave, what would it be? Every heart fears rejection. Every soul trembles at the thought of being too much or not enough. And your soulmate's final cry is tangled in these fears. Because to love you this deeply is to risk everything, and yet they cannot stop. They cannot silence their soul's song. And so they cry out, hoping you will answer, hoping you will prove that this love is not a dream. So let me ask you, if you could quiet every fear in their chest, what would you ask them to show them that your love is fearless? There are those who believe love is a fleeting feeling, a passing moment of pleasure. But you know, and your soulmate knows, that what binds you is eternal. It is a covenant carved before your birth, a truth etched in the fabric of your souls. And that is why this final cry is so powerful, because it is not only about this life, but about all the lives that led you here. So I ask you, if you could ask your soulmate about the love that has followed you both through eternity, what question would fall from your lips? Beloved, the angels see you both, even in your weakness, even in your longing, even in your mistakes, and we do not judge you. For love was never meant to be perfect, only true, and your soulmate's cry is not a demand for perfection, but a plea. For understanding, for acceptance, for forgiveness, for presence. So let me ask you, if you could hold their trembling hands and ask them one question that would bring. The journey of love is never without wounds, and your soulmate has carried theirs in silence, hiding the scars from the world, but never from heaven. For we see the ache they try to bury and the nights they wish they could collapse into your arms, and though they walk among others, it is your name that beats within their hidden chambers. So tell me, if you could uncover their scars with gentleness, what question would you ask to prove you are ready to heal with them, not judge them? Your soulmate has prayed in ways they never thought they would, whispered words into the dark, hoping the wind would carry them to you, hoping that somehow, across unseen spaces, you would hear the cry their lips cannot speak, and in those prayers is a vulnerability so raw that even angels bow their heads in reverence. So I ask you, if you could hear their most desperate prayer tonight, what question would you ask them that shows you are listening? Love is not simply about joy and passion. It is also about endurance, about holding on when everything around you tries to tear it apart. And your soulmate has endured more than you know, waiting, hoping, longing, and though the world tells them to move on, their soul cannot release you, for you are woven into their very breath. So let me ask you, if you could sit with them in the midst of this waiting, what would you ask to let them know you are worth holding on to? Beloved, do you not realize how precious you are to them? Even in moments when they try to push you from their mind, even when they tell themselves that forgetting would be easier, their heart betrays them with every beat, whispering your name, aching for your presence, crying for your touch. So tell me, if you could stand before them in the honesty of that ache, what would you ask to invite them into complete truth? The world may never understand this kind of love, for it cannot be measured by logic or explained by reason. It is divine, it is spiritual, it is eternal. And that is why it feels so overwhelming, so consuming, so impossible to ignore, because it was not born in human desire, but in the breath of the eternal. So let me ask you, if you could stand in that sacred recognition with your soulmate, what question would you ask that honors the holiness of your bond? You may feel at times that the distance has grown too wide, that the silence has stretched too long, that the tears have fallen too many. But love laughs at such fears, for love is not weakened by time but refined by it, like fire that burns away the dross to reveal pure gold. And your soulmate's cry is proof that even in distance, they cannot forget you. So I ask you, if you could meet them after all this time, what would you ask that bridges every mile instantly? There is a part of your soulmate that only you can touch, a hidden chamber no one else can enter, because it was shaped with your soul's key. And it is in that chamber that their cry resounds the loudest, echoing your name, longing for your presence, waiting for your return. So tell me, if you could stand at the doorway of their hidden heart, what question would you ask to be invited in fully? Every soul longs for home, and for your soulmate, you are that home, even if they have never said it, even if they have tried to deny it. Because the heart does not lie, and in every final cry, in every hidden tear, there's a plea to come back to where they feel most safe you. So let me ask you, if you could remind them that they are safe in you, what question would you ask to make them trust your embrace again? The angels have seen your soulmate kneel in surrender, whispering words of regret, wondering if they made mistakes that cost them your closeness. And in those moments their cry is both love and repentance, a plea not only to be loved, but to be forgiven. So I ask you, If you could kneel with them in that sacred moment, what question would you ask to bring forgiveness between you both? Sometimes love's greatest proof is not in grand gestures, but in the willingness to stay, to listen, to hold space for the other's brokenness. And your soulmate's cry is not asking for perfection, but for presence, not asking for answers, but for understanding. So let me ask you, if you could sit in their silence without trying to fix it, what question would you ask to simply let them know you are there? They dream of you, beloved, not just in fleeting moments, but in visions that feel more real than life itself. For in those dreams their soul touches yours, their spirit speaks freely, their tears are wiped away by your hand, and their cry of love is soothed for a moment before they wake again to the ache of absence. So tell me, if you could step into their dream and ask them anything, what question would your heart long to whisper as they sleep? There are choices in life that shape destiny, and your soulmate stands at the edge of such choices, knowing that one decision could bring them closer to you or farther away. And their cry is the trembling of a soul afraid to choose wrongly, afraid to lose you forever. So I ask you, if you could stand beside them at the crossroads, what question would you ask to help them choose love without fear? Your soulmate has seen glimpses of the future with you, moments of laughter, moments of peace, moments of building a life together, and those glimpses haunt them, because they feel so true, so inevitable, and yet the world tells them it is impossible, but still they cry out, longing for that future. So let me ask you, if you could ask them about the life they see with you, what question would open their heart to share their vision? Beloved, sometimes your soulmate wonders if you can feel their cry, if you know how deeply they ache for you, if you understand how much they hide behind their strength. And this doubt weighs on them heavily, because to cry out without being heard is the greatest sorrow. So I ask you, if you could prove to them that you do hear, what question would you ask to show them their cry has reached your soul? Beloved soul, the cry of your soulmate has been written across the heavens like a song that never fades, a melody of longing that angels themselves cannot ignore. And though the world sees only their smile, heaven knows the tears behind it, the nights they whisper your name into the dark, the days they press their hand against their chest, just to feel if love still beats there. So let me ask you, if you could hear this secret song of their soul, what would you ask them to sing back to you? There is a courage in your soulmate that no one else sees, a courage not of loud declarations, but of quiet endurance. For though the ache is heavy, though the longing is fierce, they still carry on, still breathe, still rise each morning, even while their spirit cries for you. And in that endurance lies their love. So I ask you, if you could look into their weary eyes, what question would you ask to remind them that their strength is not unnoticed? Your soulmate's cry is not born out of weakness, but out of truth. For love cannot be caged, it cannot be silenced. It cannot be buried forever. It will always rise, always speak, always demand to be felt. And this cry is their truth breaking through, calling for the only one who can answer you. So tell me, if you could meet that truth with open arms, what question would you ask to embrace it fully? There are memories your soulmate holds like treasures, moments with you that replay in their mind when the nights feel endless, memories that are both sweet and sorrowful, because they remind them of what was and what could be, and those memories fuel their cry, echoing louder each time. So let me ask you, if you could step into one of those memories with them, what question would you ask to keep that moment alive forever? Beloved, there is no greater gift than being truly seen, and your soulmate's final cry is a desperate plea to be seen by you, not as they pretend to be, not as the world expects them to be, but as they truly are: fragile, strong, wounded, radiant, flawed, divine, all at once. And only your gaze has the power to make them feel whole. So I ask you, if you could stand before them stripped of all masks, what question would you ask that proves you see their soul? The angels have carried every unspoken word between you, every sigh, every longing thought, and we lay them gently before the eternal. Because even what you never say matters. Even what you never confess shapes destiny. And your soulmate's cry has been gathered like a sacred offering, too precious to be lost. So let me ask you, if you could hear one unspoken truth from their lips, what question would you ask to draw it forth? Sometimes your soulmate fears that time has stolen too much, that opportunities have passed, that maybe the world has moved too far ahead for love to catch up, and yet their cry persists. Because love knows no such limits, it defies time, it transcends endings, it restores what was broken. And so their cry is not a farewell, but a waiting. So I ask you, if you could take away their fear of wasted time, what question would you ask to remind them love is never late? Do you know, beloved, that every tear they shed for you becomes a jewel in heaven, a testimony of the depth of their love? And while the world may dismiss such tears as weakness, we angels see them as sacred, proof of a love that cannot be faked, cannot be erased, cannot be diminished. And this is why their cry moves the heavens. So tell me, if you could catch one of those tears in your hand, what question would you ask as you kissed it away? Your soulmate's cry is also a call to destiny, a reminder that you are not here on this earth merely to exist, but to love in a way that heals, transforms, redeems, and elevates. And their cry pulls you closer to that destiny, even when you resist, even when you fear, for the eternal will not let what was written be undone. So I ask you, if you'll face destiny hand in hand. Beloved, there are nights when your soulmate feels as if they are fading, as if the weight of waiting is too much to carry. And their cry in those hours is not just for love, but for strength, for a reason to believe again. And though they may feel forgotten, heaven has never left them unseen, for every cry is carried straight to the heart of God. So let me ask you, if you could stand in that fading moment, what question would you ask to fill them with new hope? Your soulmate longs not only for your touch, but for your understanding, because to be understood is to be loved in the deepest way. And their cry carries with it the ache of wanting someone who will not only see their beauty, but also their brokenness, and still choose to stay. So I ask you, if you could offer them that kind of love, what question would you ask to make them feel fully known? Every time they think of walking away, their heart betrays them, pulling them back to you, because love has written its law in their soul. And their cry is proof that no matter how far they wander, no matter how loudly they deny, they will always return to your name. So tell me, if you could meet them in their moment of surrender, what question would you ask to draw them back fully into your arms? Beloved, the angels have seen the visions of your future together, the laughter, the healing, the building of something sacred. And your soulmate's cry is born from the glimpses they too have felt, visions that haunt them not as nightmares, but as promises too beautiful to forget. So I ask you, if you could step into that future for just a moment, what question would you ask that proves you are ready to live it with them? Your soulmate's cry is the sound of their soul saying, "Do not give up on me, do not give up on us." Even if their words have failed them, even if their actions have faltered, the essence of who they are still clings to you with everything inside them, because love this real refuses to die. So let me ask you, if you could answer that plea, what question would you ask that proves you never let go? There are places within your soulmate that remain untouched, places they have guarded because they fear rejection. But in their final cry of love, they are inviting you closer, even without words. They are begging you to see all of them, even the fragile corners they hide. So tell me, if you could enter those sacred places, what question would you ask to let them know you are safe? Beloved, love is not meant to be a cage. It is meant to be wings, and your soulmate's cry is a longing not just for love but for freedom, for a love that allows them to grow, to flourish, to rise higher than ever before. And you are the one who can give them that freedom. So I ask you, if you could set them free with love instead of fear, what question would you ask to help them soar beside you? There are times when they wonder if their cry will ever be answered, if perhaps it was meant to echo forever without reply. And in those moments their spirit nearly breaks, but still they hold on, because hope in you is stronger than despair. Without you, and that is the power of this bond. So let me ask you, if you could meet them at the edge of that despair, what question would you ask to breathe hope back into their soul? Beloved, you may not realize this, but your soulmate's cry is not only for themselves, it is also for you, because they ache to give as much as they long to receive. They want to heal you as much as they want to be healed. They want to love you as much as they want to be loved, and in that cry is a selfless offering. So I ask you, if you could let them love you as deeply as they desire, what question would you ask to open your own heart fully? The final cry of love is sacred. It is the last call of a soul refusing to be silenced. And your soulmate's cry has reached you because it was meant to, because destiny demanded it, because heaven ordained it, and it is now in your hands to answer, to respond, to step forward into the love that was written for you both. So tell me, if this is the moment you have been waiting for, what question will you ask that unlocks the door to forever? Beloved child of eternity, you have now heard the truth of your soulmate's cry. It is not just sorrow, it is longing, it is hope, it is love too great to vanish. You were chosen to feel it, to hear it, to carry it, because you are the answer they seek. The angels do not weep because this love is ending. We weep because it is eternal, and it calls you to rise higher than fear, higher than doubt, higher than silence. Your soulmate's final cry is not goodbye. It is a call to you, to step into truth, to ask the questions only your heart can ask, and to walk hand in hand into the love written in the stars. And now, beloved, I leave you with one last question. If love itself stood before you and whispered, "This is your moment," would you answer your soulmate's cry with courage, or would you let eternity wait?